Welcome back to Hanging Out with Blowers with me, Magus Relationship Director James West, and the nation's favourite cricket commentator, Henry Blofeld. Hello, Henry.
My dear thing, hello to you. How are you?
Very well indeed.
Avoiding the bug, I hope.
Absolutely, yeah. Staying indoors, staying safe. Absolutely, must.
Obeying the rules, aren't we all? There we are. We're getting towards the end of it.
Oh, fingers crossed. Henry, we've previously spoken about your wonderful career on Test Match Special, and today I wanted to talk about life after Test Match Special. So we know from our discussions before you retired from Test Match Special in 2017. So it'd be good to understand what adjustments did you have to make, as TMS was such a major part of your life.
Adjustments don't apply to me because adjustments imply conscious decisions. I never make conscious decisions. I just lurch from one crisis to the next. What's happened since I didn't know? I mean, I just walked out. Look, I have no problem not doing things. I have no problem walking out of Test Match Special, it's because I'm a person who I've always dealt with tomorrow and not with yesterday. I don't go around regretting things. There's no point. I once had a very bad accident when I was 16, a bicycle under a bus, and spent 28 days unconscious, which had quite an ongoing effect. There's no point looking back and saying, oh, if only it hadn't happened, because it has happened. I will get on with it. I was no longer with TMS, and therefore I walked away from it. And I don't go watch cricket very much now, actually. I hardly watch at all. It's funny, I find it frustrating, simply because I've always been watching cricket with something to do with it, to commentate, trying to amuse people, trying to entertain people. But now if I go there, I can't do that, and I really don't enjoy it so much. But what cricket I commentate on is merely for charity. I do about 20, 25 games a year for the Lashings World 11, which is a splendid organization with famous cricketers, all of whom have retired. And I mean, the sort of Devon Malcolms and people, John Emburys and lots of people like that. Sachin Tendulkar, Wasim Akram, Inzamam ul Haq, I can go through it. And I enjoy that very much indeed. And we get 2,000 or 3,000 people on the ground, and there's a marquee, and that's the cricket I really enjoy these days. And also, actually, I'm president of the Chelsea Arts Cricket Club, and their cricket is not particularly high class, but it's highly entertaining, and I like to go along as much as I can. But otherwise, I keep working very hard. I love the theatre. I've been doing awful lot of theatre shows for the last 20, 25 years. Evening with Blurs, it began with, I've done 2-act shows with Graham Swan, with Peter Baxter, my Test Match Special producer, and I did a number with, not many, but a fair number, with John Bly, the elegant from the Antiques Roadshow, who was a wonderful friend of mine, and I wish we'd done more than we did. And I love the theatre, and I think it's the greatest possible fun. Very different from commentating. You've got your audience there, and you know immediately what the reaction is. You tell a joke on Test Match Special, as long as someone in the back of the box sniggers, that's all right. But you've no idea what the audience are going to make of it. But when you're in the theatre and you tell a well-worn joke that gets as a banker, and suddenly you come across an audience and there's absolute silence, you think, oh, help. And it is a little bit different, but it's actually intriguing and great fun, and I love it. What else do? I have done until lockdowns changed everything, or rather put everything on hold. I used to do an awful lot of cruising. I used to cruise a lot for Canard as an entertainer. I would do 3 or 4 or 5 talks in the theatre during a fortnight voyage, and that would be tremendous. I enjoyed that very much indeed. You met some fascinating people on the ship, and you were looked after extremely well. And my wife and I used to enjoy that hugely. And it took up quite a lot of time. Also, I've written, can you believe it? I've written something like 20 books in my life, and I'm doing quite a bit of that at the moment. I wrote, funnily enough, my first children's book this year, Baby Blows, and I think it came out very well. I haven't found a publisher yet. It's all quite difficult, the children's market, and in the post-J.K. Rowling era, it's fantasy land, but this isn't fantasy land. It's tinged with cricket, and Baby Blows is quite a lively lad, I can promise you. Dear, oh dear. And we'll see what happens to that. And then I'm writing another book about exciting test matches at the moment. And all that goes on. The moment I retired, I wrote in 6 weeks Over and Out, which was a bestseller and sold well over 100,000 hardback, and is still selling. So that's a good one. Then I wrote Henry Blofeld's A to Z of Cricket, which was, I went through the alphabet and finding, several characters for perhaps C and perhaps whatever else, B, but then just one for Z. I think I left out Y. I'm not quite certain why. Anyway, it's quite fun, but then of course, COVID descended upon the country a year ago. So that one was rather, in a way, stillborn. So if any of you wish to see it, do have a look at it. It is actually, I say this with great modesty, it is actually quite a good book and quite amusing. Tells some interesting stories too. And so that's been very much part of my life. And I find myself writing odd pieces for newspapers who ring up and want something, want me to write something, usually cricket related. I'm probably missing something else, but I don't know, there's an awful lot seems to be happening. And until lockdown, and now nothing has happened for almost a year. I haven't practically done a job of work of any sort. And but then I'm not alone in that, I sadly. And we're all going to have to see just quite how it's going to pick itself up. And let's keep our fingers crossed that life does return to the normality that we can recognize.
And I know before lockdown, you were splitting your time between the UK and Spain. So tell me some more about that.
Well, yes, that's not work. That is, I've always loved the island of Menorca and the Balearics. I think it's by far the nicest, and it's the quietest. And Valeria and I bought a small house in Mahon, the capital, which is the most lovely city. And it's got we're on the edge of the harbour, and it's one of the 3 biggest natural harbours in the world, which made Menorca such an important island in all those wars hundreds of years ago. Because if you held Menorca, your fleet was protected, and you were in charge of the Mediterranean. And it's a lovely island. We adore it. But at the moment, we can't get that. So we're ruined in Norfolk.
Scuppered, haven't you, unfortunately, over recent months?
Well, sorry, I didn't hear that, James.
You've been scuppered.
I've been scuppered. Although if you scupper something, it means you open the ship and sink it, doesn't it? So I haven't been sunk. We're on hold. We're still floating.
Let's hope that's not the case. We don't need to call the lifeguards out just yet.
Not yet. They throw me a life jacket, I don't say it. But at the moment, all is well. But and at a distance.
Absolutely.